Give us 2 minutes, we'll answer one question. Should you see it?
Titanic the Musical is a musical retelling of the tragic misfortune that befell the ocean liner most poorly branded Unsinkable. Not in any way, shape, or form to be confused with James Cameron's billion-dollar blockbuster, Titanic the Musical is more of a historical tribute than any real kind of narrative. Aside from the obvious, this ship is headed for doom, any semblance of story is very thin and most of the many characters lack any real depth. While your mileage may vary, maybe the sheer historicalness of the thing is enough for you, it all ends up kind of boring. We open with the Titanic's designer, Thomas Andrews, belting a tune about the intention of her design. And then we're into the boarding procession. First-class passengers, second-class passengers, third-class passengers, crew. We see all of them board and learn bits and pieces about an absurdly large number of them as we continuously switch back and forth between groups, with none of them really having any story or goal within the voyage. They're all just kind of sitting around, waiting for it all to end. And so, in large part because there's no real connection to the characters, most of the music falls short. Most often, songs and musicals are memorable because we feel along with the characters. But when you can barely remember the characters' names, and they only have stock stories, there's not a real whole lot to work with. Bottom line, there aren't really any memorable songs here, so don't expect to be humming any on the way out. Of course, for all of that, Orpheus can only be faulted for not picking better material, because as far as it goes, their production of Titanic the Musical is fine and has many strong moments. The minimalist blueprint-like sets are interesting, even if they do take a bit of getting used to, and the actual sinking of the Titanic is well done. Past standouts include Michael McSheffrey as Radio Man Harold Bride, and Justin Hills as Stoker Fred Barrett, whose characters suffered from the same lack of development as everybody else, but whose strong voices made their dual singing of The Proposal and The Night Was Alive one of the high points of the show. And Sasha Weissmeyer's charm and great Irish accent helped make her Kate McGowan stand out above the crowd. Sadly, there wasn't much else notable to speak of. The cast was largely alright, but there just wasn't much meat on the bones of any of them to make them memorable. The solos were well sung, but the choral songs, of which there are many, lacked unity and kind of droned on, making it hard to make out the lyrics. But it all comes back to the lack of any real story here. James Cameron had the good sense to tell a strong story focused on select characters that just happened to be set on the Titanic, and this musical would have been better for taking that approach. That said, if you're big on the history of the thing, a Titanic buff, or just hella curious, Titanic runs for one more week until June 10th. Details are below. What did you think? Did any of the songs dig deep into your brain? Was there anything in particular you loved about it, or was it all just meh? Tell us in the comments below or over at our website, productionottawa.com, where you can find tons of local coverage. Next week, Ottawa Fringe 2012. Be there.